Dear students, for today we'll see the 17th section of your ECD lab, in which we will see the modes of operation of BJT packages, and datasheet interpretation for BJT. So here you can see the contents. The first one is modes of operation of BJT. Second one is a comparison of modes of operation of BJT. Third one is BJT packages and specifications. And fourth one is datasheet interpretation. So let's start with first BJT operation modes. Now, whenever we see the output or characteristics of a transistor, whenever we see that graph, we know that the transistor can operate in three modes. Okay, and one of the mode will be called as cutoff mode, second one will be called as saturation mode, and third one will be called as active mode. Now, to make your BJT to run in a particular mode, the DC voltage what we apply to the BJT, whether the BJT is NPN or PNP. So appropriately according to its charge carriers, whether they are negative charge carriers or positive charge carriers, you have to decide the polarity of the voltages applied. And depending upon how you are going to apply the voltage, the forward bias and reverse bias of the two junctions of the BJT will take place. And depending upon those forward bias and reverse bias of the two junctions of the BJT, you can decide in which mode your BJT is operating, whether it is a cutoff mode, saturation mode, or active mode. Okay, so this is what your BJT operation modes are. So here in the second paragraph, you can see in order to operate transistor in one of these regions, we have to supply DC voltage to the NPN or PNP transistor based on the polarity of the applied DC voltage. A transistor operates in any one of these regions. Okay, so here it is important that we remember the structure of BJT. Say for example, if you are having NPN transistor, so the structure will look like this. Okay, so this will be the structure. So here you can have your NPN transistor. Okay, so similarly you can also consider PNP transistor if you want, but we will take NPN as an example. And then we know that this is your emitter terminal, this is your base terminal, and this is your collector terminal. Now you have to apply a DC voltage between these 2 points so that your emitter base junction, that is junction J1, this junction can be forward biased or reverse biased depending upon what polarity you are going to apply of the voltage supply. Okay, say for example, this is your N-type semiconductor in which you have majority charge carriers, the electrons. And that N-type semiconductor, if you connect to a negative of a battery, and here the P-type semiconductor of base, you are going to connect to a positive of a battery. Okay, so if this is negative, this is positive, then we can conclude that the junction J1 is in forward bias condition. Similarly, the second junction, that is between base and collector, that is this one. Okay, this can be called as junction J2. This can also be made forward bias or reverse bias. Now, if I want to make it as reverse bias, then this is N-type semiconductor. Then here I can connect a voltage whose polarity will be positive, so that N-type, that is all negative charge particle electrons, will be attracted. So it is negative biasing. And then here you will be having negative for the base. And this is how you can apply the voltage and make this second junction as reverse bias. So depending upon whether your first junction is forward bias or reverse bias, and second junction is forward bias or reverse bias, depending upon whether you're using NPN transistor or PNP transistor, depending upon what polarity voltages you are going to apply to the first junction and the second junction, so you can decide in which mode you want to operate your transistor, in which mode you want to operate your BJT, whether you want to operate it in cutoff mode, saturation mode, or active mode. Okay, so here the main thing is your application in which you are going to use your BJT, that will decide in which mode you have to work. Say for example, if you want to use BJT as a switch, Then switching application, you can make on and off. So in that case, you can use these two modes, that is cutoff mode and saturation mode, if you want to use transistor as a switch. If you want to use transistor as an amplifier, then you have to use active mode. So here, if you want to use BJT as an amplifier, then you have to see that your BJT operates in active mode. Okay. So these are the three modes in which your transistor, that is BJT, bipolar junction or transistor, so that is going to operate. And the three modes are named as cutoff mode, saturation mode, and active. So next we will consider these three modes in a configuration of common base. So here I have shown you the circuit. The first circuit shows the circuit with symbol. So here you can see the symbol of transistor. Now in the symbol of transistor, this is emitter, this is base, this is collector. Okay. And you can see here the arrow is going outward. The arrow is going outward means this is a NPN transistor. This is a NPN transistor. Okay. Now NPN transistor, the N type of emitter is connected to positive of a battery, and P type of base is connected to negative of a battery. That means the junction is reverse biased. Similarly here, if you see, N type of collector is connected to positive of a battery, and P type base is connected to negative of a battery. So even this junction is reverse biased. So same thing can be made clear to you if you see the structural diagram. So here you can see a structural diagram. So instead of symbol, we will use the layer. So here you can see NPN transistor. This is N, this is P, this is N. So this is your emitter, this is base, this is collector, this is your first junction J1, this is your second junction J2. So if you see the first junction J1, that is this one. Now this emitter is connected to the positive of a battery. Okay, positive of a battery. That means this N type of semiconductor, which is having majority charge carriers as electrons, is connected to positive terminal. That means electrons will be attracted to the positive terminal. Okay. And here this P type base, which is holes, okay, is connected to the N-type semiconductor. That means they will be attracted toward the negative polarity. That means this junction J1 is in a reverse bias condition. Okay. Similarly, if you see the second junction, in the second junction, you can see this N type of semiconductor, which is your collector. So in this, you have electrons as majority charge carriers. Those electrons are connected to a positive terminal of a battery, so they are attracted outside. And here same, the holes of P type will be connected to negative of a battery. That means even the junction J2 is reverse biased. So when both the junctions are reverse biased, then we say the transistor is in cutoff mode. We say the transistor is in cutoff mode. So here the definition for a cutoff mode goes as when both the junctions, that is a junction between emitter and base and junction between base and collector, are reverse biased, then the transistor is said to be operating in cutoff mode. So there is no flow of a current through it. So here, if you go to see the theory of a cutoff mode, so we can read this theory. In a cutoff mode, both the junctions of the transistor, that is emitter to base and collector to base, are reverse biased. In other words, if we assume two PN junctions as two PN junction diodes, both the diodes are reverse biased in the cutoff mode. We know that in reverse bias condition, no current flows through the device. Hence, no current flows through the transistor. Therefore, a transistor is in off state and acts like an open switch. So here we are speaking about off state and open switch, and that is why I had said you earlier that this type of mode, operation mode, can be used for an application of switching where you want to off the switch. Then the last sentence is a cutoff mode of the transistor is used in switching operation for switch off application. Then again, a theory on a cutoff region. In this region, both the transistor junctions are connected in reverse bias. Here a transistor works like the off condition of a switch where the collector current is zero. So whenever we are drawing a graph for transistor output characteristics, we draw a graph of the output current versus output voltage. And the output current here is taken as a collector current IC. So IC is equal to 0. So here we have shown IC is equal to 0. So this is one thing what is important in cutoff region, that your output collector current is 0. So in the cutoff region, the operation is totally reversed as compared to the saturation region. So there are no exterior supplies connected. Then we'll go to see what do we mean by saturation region. So in saturation region also we have a connected configuration which is common base. So base is made common to the input and output circuit. So here you can see this is your symbol of NPN transistor because this arrow is shown outside, and this is your emitter, this is base, this is collector, and this is your NPN transistor. Now N type of emitter is connected to negative terminal of the battery. So negative charge carriers of electrons are connected to negative, so there will be a repel force. So this says that the a connection here gives rise to forward bias condition. So here you can see the p-type semiconductor is also connected to positive of the terminal. So holes will be again repelled by this. So this both connections show that the first junction is forward biased. Similarly, if you go to the second junction, the C-type, that is N-type semiconductor, is again connected to negative terminal here of the battery, and P-type semiconductor is connected to positive terminal of the battery. So this is also forward biased. This is also forward biased. So same circuit if you see in structural diagram. So here you can see your NPN transistor, and then this is your emitter, this is base, this is collector terminals, this is your first junction J1, and this is J2. So here if you see this N-type semiconductor which is having electrons as majority charge carriers, and we know that electrons are negative charge particles, they are connected to negative terminal of a battery. So that negative and negative, there will be a repelling force, repel, so they will make the electrons to flow on the other side. And here also you can see p-type of semiconductor which is having holes as majority charge carriers. It is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. So even here you can have a repel type of force, and these holes will also get a force to go away. So here both these conditions say that the junction here, that is the first junction, is forward biased. Similarly, if you see the second junction, in the collector you have N-type, that means there are majority charge carriers as electrons which are negative charge particles. They are again connected to negative polarity of a battery, so there is repelling force here, repelling force. And again here p-type is connected to positive terminal of a battery, so again here you have a repelling force. So okay, so both these say that the junction J2 is forward bias. So when both the junctions of a transistor are forward biased, then you are in saturation mode. It is called as saturation. Then if you see the theory for saturation mode, you can see that in the saturation mode, both the junctions of the transistor, that is emitter to base and a collector to base, are forward biased. In other words, if we assume two p-n junctions as two p-n junction diodes, both the diodes are forward biased in saturation mode. We know that in forward bias condition, current flows through the device. Hence, electric current flows through the transistor. Therefore, the transistor is in saturation mode, will be in on state, and acts like a closed switch. So this is entirely different from as we have seen in cutoff mode. In cutoff mode, it was off state and open switch. So in saturation now we are speaking on state and closed switch. Okay. The saturation mode of the transistor is used in switching operation for switch on application. Okay. Then we'll go to see the theory part of saturation region. Again, in this region, the transistors, both the junctions are connected in forwarding bias. So this region is mainly used for the on state for switch, where the collector current IC is equal to saturated current ISAT. Okay, so it will reach the saturation point. So it is a saturation current ISAT. Here ISAT is the saturation current, and it is the highest quantity of current flow among the two terminals like emitter as well as collector. Once this transistor is connected in the saturation region. As these junctions are connected in forwarding bias, then the transistor works like a short circuit. Okay, so it will be a closed switch. Then we'll go to see one more circuit or configuration in common base, where you can see now here again you have your symbol of NPN transistor. So here you can see we can identify this as a NPN transistor because this arrow is going away from the emitter. Okay, so this is your emitter and this is base, this is collector, so this is your NPN or transistor. And here you can see the N type of semiconductor of emitter is connected to negative terminal, and P type of semiconductor of the base is connected to positive terminal of the battery. So this connection is forward biased. Then if you go to the second junction connection, we can see the N-type semiconductor of collector is connected to positive terminal of the battery, and P-type semiconductor of the base is connected to negative terminal of the battery. So this is reverse bias condition. Okay. Same thing you can show in a structural diagram where the NPN transistor is in a structural form. So here you can see the layers of NPN or transistor. This is N layer, this is P layer, this is N layer. So this is NPN. So here you can have your emitter terminal, here you can have your base terminal, here you can have your collector terminal. This is junction J1 and this is junction J2. So if you see the first semiconductor material, that is emitter, here N type, it will be having electrons as majority charge carriers, and this semiconductor is connected to negative terminal of a battery. And here the second, that is the base terminal, which is having holes as majority charge carriers, is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. So there is a repelling force, and this can be called as forward biasing of junction J1. So the first junction is forward bias. Similarly, if you go to see the second junction, here the collector region, which is N, which will be having electrons as majority charge carriers, is connected to the positive terminal of a battery, and P type, which is having holes as majority charge carriers, is connected to negative terminal of the battery. So they have been attracted by the polarity of the battery. So it is a reverse bias condition. Okay. So here we can define now, if the first junction between emitter and base of a BJT is forward biased, and if the second junction of the BJT, that is between base and collector, is reverse biased, then the BJT or transistor is said to be operated in active mode. So here you can see this is your active mode connection. Now here, if you go to see the theory of active mode, in the active mode, one junction, that is emitter to base, is forward biased, and another junction or collector to base is reverse biased. In other words, if we assume two PN junctions as two PN junction diodes, one diode will be forward biased and another diode will be reverse biased. The active mode of operation is used for the amplification of the current. So if you want to use the transistor as an amplifier, you have to make the transistor to operate in active mode operation. So here, active region. In this region, one junction is connected in a forward bias, whereas the other one is connected in reverse bias. Here, the base current IB is used to control the quantity of IC, collector current. So the active region can be mainly used for the purpose of amplification, wherever this transistor performs like an amplifier through a gain of beta. Now, beta gain we speak when the transistor is connected in common emitter configuration. With the following equation, you can use this. That is, the collector current in that case will be the output current, that is beta times multiplied by a base current. So in that case, the configuration will be common emitter. That means if you draw the circuit, so you can see here, if you draw the circuit, it will be like this drawn. Okay, so it will be like this drawn. So here will be emitter. Emitter will be common to base and collector. So base, emitter and collector. So collector and emitter will have a output circuit, and base and emitter will have an input circuit. So base current will be the input current and the output current will be the collector current. Okay. So collector current will be current gain times the base current. Okay. So this is your very important amplification factor what you get in common emitter configuration for a transistor. And this is where a transistor used as an amplifier, because the output current here IC will be beta times the input current, and this beta value can be from 20 to 500. Okay, so that many times there will be increase in the output current as compared to the input current. Okay, the active region is also called a linear region, which lies in the between the two regions, like the a cutoff and the saturation. The a typical operation of this or transistor happens within this region. Then if you go to or compare the modes, okay, so here you can see the junctions and the modes. So here I have named the modes. So these are the modes here: a cutoff mode, saturation mode, active mode, and one more we will include here, that is reverse active mode. So for a cutoff mode, we have seen that the first junction between emitter and base, this is the first junction, and the second junction between collector and base, this is the second junction. So first junction is reverse bias, second junction is reverse bias. That means it is in cutoff mode. Similarly, when the first junction is forward biased, second junction is forward biased, it is in saturation mode. Then when the first junction is forward biased, second junction is reverse biased, it is in active mode, which is used faithfully for amplification. The same amplification can also be obtained by reversing the position, but here this is not practically used. When the first junction is reverse bias and second junction is forward bias, this will give you a little amplification factor, but this is invalid. This is not used in any application, and it is called as reverse active. So we always use active. Okay. So here, when you make the a transistor to operate in cutoff or saturation, you are using that transistor in switching application. When you use the transistor in active, you are using the transistor in amplifier application. So depending upon in which application you are going to use, so you can decide the mode of operation of the transistor. Then we'll go to see the transistor packages. So before going to see the transistor packages, we'll see the transistor pins. So a transistor have three pins called emitter E, base B, and collector C. The way that a 2N222, BC107, BC108, and BC109 are transistor symbol maps to a physical device is shown below. So here you can see this is the symbol what we had earlier seen. This is say for NPN transistor because the arrow is going out here. So this is your emitter, this is base, this is collector. This will be the way the package will be schematically shown. This is your collector, this is your base, this is the emitter. So there will be a notch here which will be called as tag, and from the tag you can name them emitter, base, collector, and then you can identify the terminals of the transistor. So E means emitter, B means base, C means collector. Then here you can see some of the packages or different packages, some examples of hot transistors. So everywhere you see there are three pins coming, there are three LEDs coming out, and those three LEDs decide that they are your emitter, base, and collector. So here you can see the three pins, here you can see the three pins, here you can see three pins, here you can see three pins, here there are three pins. Okay, so here there are three pins, here there are three pins. So everywhere, wherever there are three pins here, then those are your emitter, base, and collector. Okay, and in that packages you can get your bijunction transistors. Okay, so again here the same thing has been shown. Some other packages, the way in which you get various types of transistors in the market. So it is very important for you to understand which is the emitter, which is the base, and which is the collector. It will be given in the data sheet of that transistor, and with that you can understand which is emitter and which is base and which is a collector terminal. So different packages have different names. Example T0220, TO220, TO18, etc. These are the names of the packages and not the transistor part numbers. The bigger the package is, the more power the transistor can handle. Different devices in the same package may have different pinouts. It is important to realize that the two transistors with exactly the same electrical specification and package may not have the same pinout and are therefore not immediately interchangeable. Then if you come to see specifications of BJT. Then there are some important specification points out of which you can see the ratings of BJT. So the important specifications are, so some of the important specifications are given here. Number one is the bipolar junction transistor BJT has a maximum collector dissipation power PD. So it is maximum collector dissipation power PD. Second is the DC current gain beta. Third is a collector cutoff current ICEO. Fourth is a collector saturation voltage VCE sat, VCE saturation. Fifth is a collector to emitter cutoff voltage VCEO. Sixth is it has a small signal a current gain alpha. Seventh is maximum collector current IC max. Eighth is maximum collector to emitter voltage VCE max. Ninth is a collector to emitter breakdown voltage BVCBO. 10th is base emitter saturation voltage VBE sat. 11th is a collector base cutoff current ICBO. Okay, so these are some of the important specifications of BJT. Then we'll go to see what do we mean by datasheet interpretation. So here the datasheet will be a manual which will be giving you the detailed information of a particular device. Okay. Now here in this case we are speaking about transistors. So this manuals will give you the detail of that transistor. Okay. So here the data sheet for a common NPN transistor, the 2N3904 is shown in the figure, which is on the next slide. This model is available from several different manufacturers. Okay. First off, note the case style, the case in which it is packed. This is a TO92 plastic case for through-hole mounting and is commonly used for small signal or transistors. Under the maximums, we find the device has a maximum power dissipation of 625 milliwatts in free air, ambient temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, a maximum collector current of 200 milliamperes, and a maximum collector emitter voltage of 40 volts. Obviously, the device cannot withstand maximum current and voltage simultaneously. So here you can see this is how you can note down all those factors and ratings, okay, maximum ratings of the particular transistor. So here you can see the a transistor which we are studying is now 2N3903, 2N3904. This transistor's data sheet. Okay, so this data sheet is of these two are transistors. So it is make of on semiconductor. Okay, so it is a NPN transistor which is silicon based. It is general purpose transistor. And then features, you can see maximum ratings, whatever we have mentioned in the specifications, all those maximum ratings. So here you can see thermal characteristics. Here you can see the casing, how it is done and how are the symbols of straight laid bulk pack and also bent laid tape and reel pack. Okay, so here you can also have the marking diagrams of the transistor. Okay, so everything will be given in the data sheet, which is a manual for the particular device. So in next figure, we find a variety of characteristics, including nominal values for beta, that is current gain under various conditions at a particularly small or large collector currents beta tends to drop off. So here you can see those values which are related to the characteristics of beta. Okay, so this is also included in your data sheet for the same two transistors. Then more illustrative are the graphs from the third page as shown in the figure in the next slide. The uppermost graph depicts the variation of beta, that is the current gain with both collector current and temperature. The normalized beta is plotted on the vertical axis. That is, this is not the expected value, but is a ratio used to compare beta under varying conditions. So here as an example, we can see this page of the data sheet also, where you can see graphs of various relations. Thank you, students.